Hello students, today we will see a new lesson, the body fluids and circulation. So what all the substances we take in, they are digested in a particular part only. So they have to reach the all parts of our body. So something is needed to carry the substances which are digested at a particular part to all the parts of the body. So these are the substances, body fluids. So the higher vertebrates have blood to carry these substances from one part to other. In invertebrates like sponges and coelenterate, they all use water, so they won't have like this complex blood forms to transport the substances. So in vertebrates, this blood has a complex substances in them. So first is plasma, the fluid liquid substance, and in that plasma we have formed elements. So the blood is divided into plasma and formed elements. This formed elements is again of blood cells and platelets. This blood cells has a major role in the body, either to carry the substances or to fight against the microorganisms. So these platelets have the major function in our body, this cells, blood cells. So this blood cells is again divided into erythrocytes and leukocytes. This leukocytes, erythrocytes is what? RBCs. I often say that erythro in biological form often refer to the red color. So RBCs is also known as erythrocytes and leukocytes is WBCs. Okay, so this leukocytes so they have to fight against something, so they have a lot of force with them. So this leukocytes is again divided in many forms. So these are granulocytes and agranulocytes based on the strain, whether they have the granules or not. If they have the granules, they are come under the granulocytes. If they don't have, they are agranulocytes. This granulocytes is divided into neutrophils, basophils and eosinophils based on their function and the structure. And this agranulocytes is again broken into monocytes and leukocytes. This leukocytes contains two types of cells, B lymphocytes, T lymphocytes, otherwise known as B cells and T cells. So we will see something deep about this in the further section. So granulocytes, agranulocytes is of leukocytes. So this is all about the blood of our body fluid. So it is easy, children. The blood contains two components. What are the two components? Plasma and formed elements. This formed elements, this is the major component, and this major component, this liquid contains this formed elements, and this formed elements have blood cells and platelets. So easy to remember. See, blood cells have major function in our body. That is most of the control of our body is by these blood cells. The platelets have majorly the clotting factor. The clotting mechanism is by the platelets, but most of the body mechanisms is carried out by these blood cells. So this blood cells is broken into this way. So red and white. It has red and white, these two things. So red is erythrocytes and white is leukocytes. This leukocytes is going to fight against something, so they need more force, so they are divided into groups. So this is the group of leukocytes. So we will start with plasma. This plasma is a straw colored fluid. So keep note of this, children. They asked in NEET question in previous year. The straw colored fluid is plasma, and this plasma contains water. Water is 90 to 92%. Water is 90 to 92%. And the second one is proteins. What are these proteins? Albumins, globulins, and fibrinogens. This albumins is used for the maintenance of osmotic balance of our body, and this globulins is used for the defense mechanism. This defense mechanism is maintained by these globulins is of three types: alpha globulins, beta globulins, and gamma globulins. Alpha globulins and beta globulins is of sideways, but this gamma globulin has major function in defense mechanism. And fibrinogen, it is a clotting factor. Clotting factor means it is the form of platelets. So the third one is minerals. What can be the minerals? Sodium, calcium, magnesium, like this, etc. These are the examples of minerals present in plasma. So the three major components of plasma is water, proteins, and minerals. And so we have seen this plasma, correct? Now we will move on to the formed elements. This formed elements, first we have blood cells. So in this blood cells, first we have RBCs. So first we see about RBCs. This RBCs is also known as erythrocytes. Erythrocytes is a major component of formed elements. So erythrocytes are present 5 to 5.5 millions per millimeter cube of blood. So they are biconcave in shape, that is they have no nucleus, so they are bulged inwards. They are bulged inwards like this. So this is the cross section. I have cut this. If I cut the blood cell, this will look like this. They won't have no nucleus, no mitochondria. If no mitochondria, they have anaerobic mechanism. Only so they are supposed to carry the oxygen. So if they are using anaerobic mechanism, they won't use this oxygen. So they are efficiently used for carrying of oxygen, as they contain hemoglobin pigment. Because of this hemoglobin pigment only, the RBCs are going or appear as red color, and they also carry some carbon dioxide. So the normal grams of hemoglobin in per 100 milliliter of RBCs is 12 to 16 grams. So formation of RBCs is also known as erythropoiesis. Okay, formation of RBCs is what? Erythropoiesis, where it occurs in bone marrow. Okay, now the lifespan of RBCs is 120 days. Keep this in mind. Lifespan of RBCs is 120 days. And then something to note about RBCs is, sorry, this is from plasma. Plasma minus clotting proteins. So plasma minus clotting proteins is known as serum. So keep this in mind. Plasma minus clotting proteins is known as serum fluid. Okay children, now we will move on to the leukocytes, our defense mechanism. This leukocytes is also known as WBCs, correct? This WBCs as compared to RBCs are low in number. They are in thousands, but they are in millions. 6,000 to 8,000 per millimeter cube. They have nucleus, but RBCs won't have. They have amoeboid movement, that is they can enlarge the surface of the cell, so they can capture the food and close this. So this was amoeboid movement. Only then they can kill the organism, correct? So these leukocytes have a special feature called as diapedisis. Okay, this diapedisis is what movement means? The movement of leukocytes through the capillaries. So they can squeeze. If this is going to be the capillary, the cells can squeeze these capillaries and come into, and they can attack these microorganisms. So if the microorganisms is present in the capillaries, they can able to come in. So that's what I told here as amoeboid movement. So this diaperesis movement is what? They can squeeze the capillary walls and move into the capillaries. So this is the unique feature of leukocytes. So this leukocytes is broken into granulocytes and agranulocytes, as I said before. So this granulocytes is again of 3 cells. So easily you can remember bin. Most of us love to see bin 10, correct? So this bin, B for basophils, E basophils, eosinophils, neutrophils. So keep this in mind. So their order also decreases like this way, the increases like this way. So the basophils is the least abundant. They are 0.5 to 1% only, while eosinophils is 2 to 3%. Neutrophils is 60 to 65%. Neutrophils is most abundant. See here, most abundant and least abundant. So Ben as a order is in this way, like that their abundance also in this way. So easily you can remember this. This is a easy way. So this basophil secrete histamine, serotonin, and heparin, and etc. So these are the factors present in basophils. What can be histamine is an anticoagulant. Anticoagulant, and some serotonin dilute the vessels. Vessel dilution. Okay, and then heparin, and these are the inflammatory action, help in the inflammatory action, heparin. So these are secreted by basophils. So inflammation, what is inflammation? The attack of the microorganisms entered in, new microorganisms entered in our body. This was inflammation. So inflammation is carried out by basophils, which secrete heparin. And then eosinophils, the second letter of Ben, eosinophils. So they resist infection and increase in allergies. When we are affected by allergies, the number of eosinophils increases. So they are similar to lysosomes. Keep this in mind, important point. They asked in NEET. So similar to lysosomes. Why they are similar to lysosomes means they have hydrolytic enzymes and peroxidases. So they engulf the microorganisms and kill them by secreting these things, hydrolytic enzymes and peroxidases. And they have antihistaminic properties. They are opposite to histamine, so antihistaminic properties. Next letter of Ben is last letter, neutrophils. This neutrophils is most abundant, and they are phagocytic in nature, and they can squeeze capillary walls. Squeeze capillary walls means I told you a process here, diaperesis. So diaperesis is mainly functioned by neutrophils. Keep this in mind. Next one is monocytes, a form of agranulocytes, monocytes. This monocytes is 6 to 8%. So largest lymphocytes means the cell size will be large. And macrophages in tissues. They are phagocytic in nature. Phagocytic in nature means they are similar to neutrophils. So neutrophils and monocytes are similar in activity. So they are bean shaped nuclei. They have, this also is important point, they are bean shaped nuclei. So largest lymphocyte, and next we'll see, here we saw the lymphocytes, correct? So the lymphocytes, they have large nuclei and less cytoplasm. What is leukocytosis and leukopoiesis means? Leukocytosis means increase in WBCs. When the WBCs are increased, when we are affected. So when we are affected, WBCs increase. This condition is known as leukocytosis. And this formation of WBCs is known as leukopoiesis. leukopoiesis. Okay, leukopoiesis is formation of WBCs, and then these WBCs have B cells and T cells, and these B cells, they are formed in bone marrow, but they are mature in here B bone marrow, BBTT. Keep this in mind. So bone marrow matures in, sorry, B cells matures in bone marrow and T cells mature in thymus. So let us see the lifespan of these things. If we see, their basophils are 3 lobed and eosinophils are 2 lobed, and if you see basophils 4 to 5 hours in blood, 4 to 5 hours in blood, 4 to 5 hours in tissue, 4 to, like the similar, they all are going to similar in lifespan. When come to agranulocytes, you will see the difference. They live 10 to 20 hours in bone marrow, and the largest living leukocytes are lymphocytes. So lymphocytes, months, days, weeks, months, even years. So this is the classification of leukocytes. So we have dealt with the body fluids in depth. So for more videos, please subscribe our channel. If there is any doubt in this video, please comment in the comment section. Thank you. We'll see with platelets. So the platelets is more than WBCs but less than RBCs. Platelets in lakhs, 1 lakh 50,000 to 3 lakh 50,000 per millimeter cube. And these platelets are not true cells. They are cell fragments with no nucleus. And then bone marrow, they also form in bone marrow, where in bone marrow we have special cells called as megakaryocytes. So in bone marrow, megakaryocytes are responsible for the formation of platelets, and then their lifespan is 1 to 1.5 weeks. Then they end their life in spleen and liver. So keep this in mind. Where the platelets die, they die in spleen and liver, and their major function is blood clotting, and their deficiency leads to thrombocytopenia. This is the basic things you should know about platelets.